All right, welcome back to the Run.down post-game show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you're listening to this today after Strickland Podcast Network, Knicks lose game one at home, 108 to 101. Rough game by the Knicks, to say the least. We will talk about all of the things that went wrong. Game two will be on Tuesday, so hopefully the Knicks can bounce back. Um, yeah, Knicks kind of started the game getting punched in the mouth early by Gabe Vincent scoring like what was it, 8 points?
He scored
Eight
8.
scored 8 points in like the first couple minutes. Um, yeah, I mean between him and then Kyle Lowry finishing the game on us, it was really rough for Knicks guards. Um, Yesterday at the Strickland Live round two preview, we kind of discussed our concerns with Jalen Brunson, dealing with Gabe Vincent and Kyle Lowry. IQ was mainly on Kyle Lowry to end the game today. But yeah, I mean, everything that could have went wrong for the Knicks kind of went wrong in the most extreme ways. Um, couldn't hit a three to save their lives. Obi Toppin was the Knicks' best three-point shooter tonight, hitting 4 of 11 threes. Jalen Brunson went 0 for 7. Josh Hart 0 for 4. Quickly 1 for 4. Grimes 1 for 3. And RJ Barrett 1 for 5 from 3. And in a game that you lose by 7 points, missing 8 free throws definitely doesn't help your cause as well. Um, yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people on Twitter. They're like, the Knicks are dominating the paint battle. Why continue to shoot threes? Well, you kind of have to if you're going to keep up with a team that keeps making threes at the rate Miami is making them at. Um, they had guys like Jimmy Butler wasn't hitting from three, but they had Kevin Love hit 2 threes, Max Strus hit 2, Gabe Vincent hit 5, and Kyle Lowry hit 3. You're going to have to match them because 3 is just greater than 2, and they're going to get more free throws than us. So, you have to keep up in the battle somehow with the threes. The Knicks, they just have to do a better job. They got a ton of open looks today. RJ Barrett did a great job of generating a whole bunch of open looks for guys. Jalen Brunson kicked out to open guys because they were building a wall around him. So the Knicks had no choice but to shoot threes. It's just a matter of them hitting these threes. And we'll talk about, the whole Jimmy Butler thing in a minute. But Therese, your initial thoughts on this game?
Uh, we need to hit threes, or else this series is going to be over fairly quick. Um, I I don't like my thoughts come down to mostly like they didn't hit threes, and the Heat got an insane whistle, especially in the second half, and they were just able to roll off of that. Meanwhile, the Knicks were getting body blows in the paint and could not get free throws. It's And then the turnovers did not help them at all. Brunson had 5, RJ had 4. So when you're forcing your two ball handlers essentially to have turnovers to that degree, then you're going to lose a lot of games. And a lot of those were unforced turnovers where it kind of felt like the Knicks were able to build some momentum and then they would turn it over. Um, the Miami Heat played a really fantastic zone. I think they were able to really stifle what the Knicks wanted to do. And yeah, like, the analysis really just comes down to like make or miss league, and if the Knicks shoot poorly from 3, they win this game. But they shot dreadfully from 3, which is not ideal. And ultimately, it took like Gabe Vincent having 20, Kyle Lowry having 18 to like make that game competitive. So I'm not like panicking yet, but it's also like if the Knicks hit threes, they need to be able to hit threes, and I'm questioning how much Grimes is actually healthy. I think that's my big takeaway from this is how healthy is Grimes really? If he already said himself he's not 100%. So what is 100% for Grimes? Because he clearly took the game to kind of ease him back in, which I can understand to some degree. But he essentially played like a 6-minute shift and then a 4-minute shift to spell hard. So I don't know how feasible that's going to be. Um, but yeah, you need more. You need more Grimes. I think you could have used a little bit of Deuce as well, just to kind of stop Kyle Lowry when he's getting hot in that fourth quarter. I feel like you have your depth. You need to be able to use it. And if you're not using your depth, then what do you have depth for? Like, you should not be running 8 and running Josh Hart 43 minutes. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the end of the game. So Jimmy Butler gets hurt, turns his ankle. Um, you know, the Heat kind of just have him standing in the corner, basically doing nothing for most of the game. And the Knicks definitely helped him, get some recovery time as well, as they did not attack him at all. RJ, one key play at the end of this game, RJ has Jimmy Butler on him and then calls for a screen. I'm
For
sorry,
no reason! For no reason! It's Jimmy Butler, and he's there with one ankle. And you somehow do not have the courage in yourself as a driver to just drive at Jimmy Butler. The worst he can do is foul you. Like, he is not going to be able to guard you. I don't understand that play, and I don't understand why he was so hesitant to make that decision. And credit to him, he played a really good game, especially on the boards and as a scorer. But, like, in the second half, he faded, and a lot of his fading was due to the fact he was not making the right passes he was making in the first quarter, and he was getting flustered as the ball handler. And that was just encompassing what his second half was like, because he just made such a garbage decision down the stretch, and I do not understand why that was the case.
Yeah. Um, the whole team as a whole just like completely faded, and they look like they lacked poise in that fourth quarter. Um, I mean, the shots, they were all terribly short. Terribly short. You have guys airballing shots. It was just a bad second half. Um, they responded well to a couple of the Heat's runs in that second half, but overall they still looked overall flustered. They lack that poise that they showed in that first round series. And I don't think it's anything that Miami really did. I just think the Knicks just didn't respond well to not getting calls. Shout out to fucking bum ass Tony Brothers. He can choke on one. And them just like not hitting shots, that combination of not getting a whistle and not hitting your shots, it's gonna ultimately lead to frustration. You saw it on the Knicks today. Jalen Brunson got a technical foul. When's the last time you can say Jalen Brunson got a technical foul? That's how you know it was really, um, he was really pissed and really flustered by the officiating today. But that doesn't excuse the Knicks for not hitting their shots. But that combination of doing both will do it to this team. And we saw it today. Tuesday is, as they say, gut check time for this team. We've seen them respond well after losses, including after game 2 when they responded well in game 3 and game 4 and then game 5 to close out the previous series. So we will see how this team responds on game 2. Maybe even Julius Randle returns, and that gives the team a little bit of a boost, as he didn't play this game. But yeah.
Yep. I think Obi played a good game, but his inability to play in the half court really stood out. Like, when they had him taking threes because he had nothing else to do offensively. Like, they were walling off the paint, and they essentially said, "You're going to have to beat us with threes," and the Knicks going to beat them with threes. And then people got mad when Obi Toppin was taking threes, and it's like, well, what else is he supposed to do when he's on the court? Because if he can't get out of transition, you try to use him as a cutter, but like, again, they're ignoring him, and they're essentially walling up on Brunson. So like, if he cuts, even still, if he's cutting, you're just bringing more bodies into the paint. So I think Obi's inability to really do things off the dribble and as a self-creator kind of showed there. He just does not have a handle. I know he had that play against the Cavs in Game 5, but he just does not have a handle for this team, especially for a swarming defense like that. And he played his role. He played it the right way. I mean, 18 points, 8 rebounds. He did what he needed to do. But that's where you miss Randall in those moments to kind of like break down the defense, get to his spot within like that 12 to 15-foot range, and cash a three in, or be able to draw two to the ball and then kick out to an open shooter and stuff like that, or just be able to make those pull up threes that other players on the team weren't making. You definitely miss that, and that doesn't take away from Obi though having a really good game, being really active, being the only person who can shoot in this team aside from like he was the only person who could shoot in this team because I think the other guys went 3 for 23. So like you can't do much more if you're Obi Toppin, but that does show his deficiencies for this team and within the half court.
Yeah, I thought he did a much better job in the first half, just like cutting um behind the Heat zone and stuff like that. Um I don't know if there was something schematically, if they did something differently, or if the Knicks just like went away from that. It seemed like they just kind of made him stationary in the corner. Um but yeah, I don't know. I guess like the Knicks were just trying to match their 3-point shooting because the Heat really started to get hot in that third quarter from three, um, especially Max Strus.
Yep.
And maybe the Knicks just thought, all right, we're not gonna really try to settle for just twos all the time. Let's try to get into the paint and then get open threes. Which they did. They did get open threes. It's just a matter of knocking them down. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's insane like how much this team's shooting has fallen off. Because like during the regular season, we weren't really we weren't a great 3-point shooting team, but we weren't
We were
like
bad. No, we were bad. Like we
we
finished
weren't
19th.
this
We
bad though.
we finished 19th, but we were bad for like 3/4 of the season, really. Like until we got Hart, we were just a bad team, and then we just like took off at Hart. A lot of it was taking off at Hart, and then quickly like having that stretch post All-Star break. But like, yeah, we were a bad shooting team. We are a bad shooting team, and our
But
problem
this
is
bad, like 21%.
I I think you do not. I think you're like forgetting how bad some of our performances were earlier in the season. Like we are a bad shooting team. Like we finished 19th, but like we are bad. And I don't expect the Heat to be good either. And the Heat weren't good either. They shot 33%, but like, and obviously I'm not saying we're going to shoot 21% every night, but like, yeah, we're bad. We're not that good of a shooting team.
I didn't think it was this bad though. 21% from three, and I mean like overall for the playoffs, we've been like what 26% from three or some shit. Like law of averages has to kick in. Like somehow, some way, this team has to like get to like even where they were in the regular season. If they can hit that now, like that's like such a drastic improvement.
Yeah, if they could shoot 33, if they shot like 33% even, they win this game. Like, so they did everything right. Like I don't. That's why I'm not too bummed about this loss. Because they did everything right. They played really good defense. The problem was they just could not hit threes to save their life. And at some point, it's a math problem, and you need to take threes over twos. And they just only hit 7. If they hit 10, we're not having this conversation because they win the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they built a team where 3-point shooting isn't the end all be all, which is a good thing. But you still need to have like decent shooting, and you can't have quickly going 1 for 4. You can't have Brunson going over. You can't have Brunson going over. You can't have Josh Hart going over. You can't have RJ Barrett going 1 for 5. Like if Brunson goes 2 for 7 and Josh Hart hits 1, then like they win the game. So
yeah. Oh man. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this also just comes down to like Grimes getting more minutes in these stretches. I Dibs loves this RJ Hart thing, but like, man, moments like that at the end of the games where you just like need some type of shooting, get Grimes in, see what he has. Like his defense, I mean, especially like with Jimmy being hobbled, like you don't even need to worry about like Grimes guarding him. Put Grimes on what you call it, Kyle Lowry, if anything, and then have him shoot threes. Like I don't get the Grimes thing. I understand like if he's not really 100%, but like he played, so like gotta try him. Like you gotta try use the depth that you have.
I agree, but at the same time, it's also like my thing with Grimes is he hasn't been shooting this playoffs at all. He's been rushing his shots. They haven't really been going down either. So like I can understand the shooters need to come in, but if the shooters don't shoot, then what do you do? So that's kind of my takeaway. If the shooters don't shoot, there aren't really a lot of pivots you could go to, and you try to double down
I mean,
on.
he took 3 threes in what he had like 10 minutes tonight. I think he would. I think he was pretty. That's better than a lot of his other games this postseason. I think. I just think that if he gets more minutes and you know he's in there just to shoot at the end of the game because he's not going to be guarding Jimmy at that point because Jimmy has one leg. I just think that you got to try something there, like because Quickly didn't have it tonight either, and we'll talk about him very soon. Um, Very weird games from Quickly these playoffs, by the way.
He's shook. He looks scared.
Yeah,
Like he looks nervous. He is rushing his shots. He just cannot get teeth into the paint. I don't know what's going on with him, but I need him to like feel comfortable, and the Heat are just not making him feel comfortable. They're crowding the ball. They're applying ball pressure to him. Um, they're making it so that he needs to do more as not a self creator, but he needs to do more as like a passer. Or if he is going to do stuff as self creator, they're making him do it within the arc instead of outside of the arc, and he is just shook. I don't hate him coming to finish the fourth quarter, but this because like you do need his defense, and I did like his defense against Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry just made a bunch of tough shots,
Carly made bullshit tonight.
and that free throws was really rough. So like I didn't hate what Quickly did, but he needs to find his offense because his defense has been great, but his offense is what's going to win us these games.
Definitely. Schwinn has joined us. Schwinn, your thoughts on tonight? So not tonight's, but today's game.
I think people are one overreacting, which is
Of course.
always the case. And two, like I think this Quickly conversation is really stupid because he's just not being used in like this actually reminded me a lot of the game we lost to Miami this season, the one loss we had. We started that game off okay on offense. I think we might have been tied or something like that at halftime. And the third quarter was a disaster, and they made a big push in the fourth, and then they ran away from us. In that game, Brunson also had he if you look at his box score, it looked fine. He had a bad game. I thought tonight, if you look at Brunson's box score, looks okay.
Fine, but
he had a bad game.
Terrible game. Yeah,
he had a terrible game, in my opinion. I thought he cost us in the first half with some really awful turnovers, and they were all at like these big moments when they could have extended the lead. I agree Quickly needs to be more aggressive. I also, and I've been saying this since the Cleveland series, to me, it looks like Tibbs is very much putting it all on RJ and Brunson right now. And I'm honestly, I'm fine with that. I still think like, even if you want to put it on them, pause, that I think you need to have Quickly initiate and then swing it to them, especially with how Miami is covering pick and rolls. You need to just test out the waters there. And like, look, I don't think Quickly had a very good game. So this is not really like praise of him. This is more honestly probably like a criticism of Brunson. The Knicks missed a bunch of open threes in the second quarter when he was running point or whatever you want to call it. I think Obi missed a couple, Grimes missed a couple, Quick missed one, which was kind of a transition one, whatever. RJ missed one. Yeah, Hart missed. I mean, Hart, if he hit the rim today, that was a miracle on his three. And like, whatever. But my point is, that was good offense. And this is like, I bring back this game that we lost to Miami in the regular season. Because if you go back, I promise you, if you go back and you like look through tweets from that time, there were all these people that were like, Quickly was terrible. He's got to be more aggressive, blah, blah, blah. And I agreed with that. But at the time, I was also like, I still think like people are overreacting. They got good shots and they didn't make them. And that's how I feel about this game. They got good shots. They didn't make them. And part of that is like, guys just have to make shots. And part of that is on Tibbs. Like, dude, you cannot, like, this fixation with Josh Hart is ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry. I love Josh Hart. I think he's a great player for us. He obviously brings something to the table that
got to try Grimes there.
It's not just trying Grimes. It's like, okay, you want to have, if you're that married to having Josh Hart on the floor, then play him at the 4. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we see this.
Like he did in like the second quarter, I think it was.
And the way they were defending, like they were not defending Hart. So like I thought Brunson and RJ were poor in the second half, especially. Like, I mean, RJ was awesome in the first half. He had a bad second half. But, like, and yes, they were forcing it and they committed stupid turnovers on drives. And sure, like that wasn't good. But part of that is that, like, look at the spacing there. They're bringing a third guy into the paint off of Hart because they're just not in. They don't care. They don't care that he's open. They're like, okay,
They're doing what we did to the Cavs with
Yeah.
Okoro and Levert and all those guys.
And Tibbs let them off the hook with that today because he just refused to play Grimes. And, like, you know, again, it's not all on Tibbs because I do think Brunson just missed passes a lot. I thought he forced action. I thought, you know, RJ in the second
They
half.
definitely let the refs get to them.
Yeah, they both did. And that's, like, you know, that's its own thing. But I'll be completely honest with you, man. I thought the best the Knicks played in the second half was when Brunson was off the floor. I thought that was their best stretch of the second half. I wouldn't have brought him back in. And when he did, I would have kept running the offense, like, nominally through quickly, but mostly through RJ. That's what I would have done because that's what was working during that stretch. And to go away from that, to me, is just bad coaching. And it's also like, I just don't really understand. Like, I really don't get how you could have watched this game. And again, that entire second half, that third quarter, I thought Brunson was terrible. Like, really, really bad. I know his shot making always has value, but, like, you could tell he was not reading the floor well. I mean, and no stretch was more indicative of how bad a floor game Brunson had tonight than it's 97-94, okay? From that point on, Butler's out there playing on one leg. They didn't attack him once. And then the one time they actually had RJ on Butler, what did they do?
Call for a screen.
They called for a screen. They switched. Like, it was mind-boggling how stupid it was. It was mind-boggling how stupid that approach was. And that is on the players. That's a lack of like I talked about this in the last series where it's like your temperament's really important. And I thought the Knicks showed a lack of inexperience today. I thought they let the refs get to them. And, they didn't have poise. And if you compare that and contrast that to Miami, who I didn't even think Miami did anything spectacular today.
They didn't.
But they did not screw themselves over. And Spoelstra, again, like,
all they do is hit threes, basically.
Yeah. And Spoelstra makes adjustments. He's quick with his decisions. He's decisive. And he absolutely crushed Tibbs in that third quarter. That was like, I was expecting Miami to come out and make a bunch of adjustments. They didn't even really do that much. It was just like, okay, leak out in transition. And, like, that basically, like, that pulled them out to an 8-point lead. I think we brought it back to 1 or something. I don't know if we got the lead back at any point after that. But I just thought that stretch, it totally got away from Tibbs. And then, like, I just don't understand the OB thing at all. Like, he was the one guy who was making threes. I actually thought he played well. And if you want to kill Brunson for the offense, and, like, you know, look, there's an argument that even with the turnovers, his offense was good. Fine, sure. People were. I saw a lot of people, like, responding to whatever I said, and, like, they were just like, "Oh, OB's defense is bad. OB's defense is bad." Look, OB's defense wasn't great. I promise you, if you watch a lot of those actions where OB is the one giving up the three, watch Brunson on a lot of those. He is the one that that's having a breakdown, that is requiring these rotations to come.
Yeah, there was a couple with Hart too, where, like, him and Hart, they didn't know, like, whether they're gonna switch or not, and then Kevin Love got an open three on a couple of those.
There was one play from Brunson in particular. We didn't get punished on it. I'll try and clip it tomorrow. He is like. He was on Strus, I want to say, maybe. It was one of their shooters, Strus. I think it was Strus. They put up a shot. He doesn't block Strus out. Strus gets the easiest offensive rebound of his life. And then he kicks it out, right? So you're scrambling already. Brunson doesn't move. He just, like, stands there while everybody else on the team is running around trying to get to their man. They got a wide open corner three from that. They missed it, fortunately. And the Knicks got a rebound. But, like, that was a terrible defensive possession in a game where his defense was extremely problematic and caused a lot of breakdowns. And he has to be better. And, like, you can't have you can't have a game where you're getting gamed by fucking Gabe Vincent if you're Brunson. Like, that just cannot happen.
We talked about this yesterday on the round 2 preview. We talked about these issues with Gabe Vincent.
And I think, like, honestly, I've had an issue with Brunson all year against Miami very specifically. I've talked about this, I think, after every single Miami game. Um, he has to trust his teammates more. He has to. He has got to swing the ball faster. He has got to make better decisions. And I think part of that can be on, Tibbs. I think Tibbs needs to play him with quickly more in this series. Or if he's going to play with RJ, then let RJ be the one who's doing the initial initiating or whatever fuck you want to call it. I'm fine with that. But Brunson has to clean up his decision making. It cannot just be switch hunting. It cannot just be, I'm going to try and split the trap. It can't be that shit. And then, like, he's compounding some of this with how slow he's getting the ball at the floor throughout the game. It's like, dude, why is it like, is this like a game he's playing where it's like, I want to see how close I can get to getting an 8-second violation without getting one? Like, he's constantly barely getting it across the line. And it's like, his handle is sick. Like, I know that fucking Caleb Martin is not hounding you like that, dude. Just get the fucking ball across the line. But yeah, like, and then the other one that I think this really warrants mentioning with Tibbs. We talk about the heart thing. With matching him with Butler. I love Mitch. Mitch had an awesome first series against Cleveland. He dominated that series. He has not played well against Miami his entire career, really. Like, the way they play, the way they cover is a bad matchup for him offensively, especially when you put him as the roll man so often as we do. And unlike Cleveland, Miami's they're the best coach team in the league. Even when you don't use him as a screener, they are so well drilled on how to collapse on him, to take away the lob, and then get back to their shooters. Like, you have to really, really thread the needle. I think they got like 2 lobs to him today, and that was basically it in the first half. Hartenstein needed to play more. He was like a +6. I don't even think I don't really know if anybody played some amazing game. The closest I would say to having a good game was Obi, I would say. But like, and RJ had a great first half. The second half takes away from it. I'm not trying to really dump on him because I think there were some compounding issues for him that he had to deal with. But like, Hartenstein just needs to play more. And again, it's so bizarre how he coached this game, because if you go and look at the wins we've had against Miami, okay, like, Hartenstein has been awesome in all those games. Every single one. Those 3 times we played them, he was awesome. And he got a lot of burn. He has to play more. This is a series for him. This matchup is why you go out and get Isaiah Hartenstein, because what Mitch can do is fantastic. It's also very limited. You need to have what Hartenstein brings to the table, and you need to use him more impactfully than the Knicks did today. So I will say this, like, I know I just spent like a lot of time shitting on various coaching decisions and players and whatever. I don't think the adjustments the Knicks need to make are that difficult.
Drastic.
They're not that drastic. They're not that difficult. I feel the same way as I felt after we lost game 2 to Cleveland. Like we had a terrible second half. And even then, even with the bad rotations that I didn't agree with, and individual
game was still within
poor
reach for the
performances,
Knicks.
yeah, and it really boiled down to 3-point shooting. So like, even with Tibbs coaching what I think was a bad game, like, you were still within the margin if guys just shoot average from 3. So like, 2 things: Tibbs got to be better, and the guys just got to make shots. I really think it's that simple. And I think Randall would help us in this series, quite frankly, because I thought Bam got away with kind of being able to just float around way too easily. And like, that would be fine if we leaned on Obi more, but we didn't. Like, I just don't. The Obi thing will just. It's crazy to me that he started off the second half by absolutely fucking cooking Kevin Love, and then we just never went to that matchup again. Which, like, people will put that on Tibbs, and to some degree it is on Tibbs. I think that's on Brunson. Brunson was really shot hungry in the second half, it looked like to me, and then he got into it with the refs, and he's trying to draw fouls, and it's just like he's got to, take a deep breath, collect yourself, and move the fuck on sometimes. And this was a game for that. And I the RJ struggles in the second half are real. I think if people want to criticize him for that, and that's fine. It's all fair game to me. I thought Brunson's approach rubbed off on him. and it all just compounded. They were really bad, and that's kind of why I would have just not had Brunson come back in, because again, the best stretch of the game they had in the second half was pretty clearly when Brunson was on the bench to me, which isn't to be like, bench Brunson, but maybe there are times you bench Brunson. Hell, the last time we played Miami, what happened?
Brunson was benched.
Yeah, he didn't play the end of the fourth quarter. Like the lineup that closed that game, I think that was the lineup that he went to in the fourth quarter when Brunson was out, right? I'm pretty sure it was Quick, Grimes, RJ, Hart, and Hartenstein. And that group was good in this game again. Anyways, and like to go away from that in that moment, I thought was a mistake. Yeah, and then look, the one play, Mitch, like, dude, you got the fucking rebound. Keep the ball high. What do you like? That was ridiculous. Like, how are you letting Kyle Lowry strip the ball from you? Come on, wake up. Yeah, like again, I'm definitely like concerned about game 2, obviously, but I still think this series is very, very much within reach for the Knicks.
Definitely.
Yeah, like I don't think it's over at all. If anybody's like, it's Jover, I hope you're trolling. Tom Thibodeau's felt a lot of contact when uncalled when the Knicks were in the paint. So we got the official coach's cry. So we should be hopefully good for game 2.
Game 2, home cooking. Let's go.
Tony Brothers needs to lose his job because that bullshit foul on Jimmy Butler where like he basically is like throwing it up and he barely has it in his hand before he throws it up and somehow gets like 2 free throws off of it. And they called it 3 on the ground. They called it 3 on the ground and then they went back and changed it to 2, which was fucking ridiculous. But yeah, it just kind of feels like the Heat got away with more contact. They got more free throws. They didn't shoot too well from 3, and it still kind of felt like if the Knicks were just able to execute a bit better offensively, they could still win that game. So,
yeah. All right. Let's get into some comments. Martin B says the loss stinks, but this is a young team hitting some adversity, which is inevitable. Hopefully shots fall soon, which will stretch the floor and make RJ and JB's lives easier, along with Julius getting back. Yeah, I mean, that's all it comes down to, honestly. Hitting shots, and then, Julius getting back, that puts an extra body for the Heat to occupy, where they can't roam off of dudes anymore. So that definitely helps. I do think he plays game 2. He was questionable for today's game. And he was going through an intense, it seemed, pregame workout that I forgot which reporter said. Reporter said he was hunched over after his workout.
I think it might have been Popper or Weitzman.
Probably. But yeah, he looked okay in the workout, I guess. Like I didn't see any hobbling or limping or anything. So I think he'll be good for game 2. That definitely helps the Knicks. And that bolsters the bench unit, Obi back to the bench. Hopefully, keeps up that good shooting. And we'll see what happens from there. But definitely the Knicks have to make shots. Hopefully we get one of those classic Julius Randle first quarters in game 2.
I just need I think Julius's playoff performance is much maligned for a very good reason. He hasn't had good playoff performances aside from 2 halves of 2 separate games. But I do feel like his ability to draw defenders like Bam is going to be important because Bam can't roam the way he does. And if you roam against Julius, I would hope that he's able to punish that. Yeah, like I can't get too upset about this game. It just really feels like the Knicks could have executed a bit better offensively and they win the game. They missed free throws. They missed a lot of threes. They still won the offensive rebounding game. They just turned the ball over a decent amount, and they weren't able to force turnovers from Miami, which is going to be the case a lot of the time because Miami's a really good is a really good team that passes a lot. It doesn't turn the ball over. So it really just comes down to can you hit your shots and can you protect the ball, which has been Knicks basketball the entire year. So
it didn't feel like we won the offensive rebounding battle just because we weren't able to convert on a lot of those second chance opportunities.
That too.
Because in games 3 and 4, and especially in game 5 too, I mean, Game 5, we were able to win the offensive rebounding battle, and it felt like it, even though we didn't make shots, especially in that fourth quarter. But we were just able to get so many more extra possessions that just ran the clock down, while we already had a sustained lead. So, it comes down to making good on those second chance opportunities, because like you get offensive rebound, can't score, and then what the hell is like 2 and done? That's it.
Yep. I don't know. The poise was missing, but then again, this is a veteran team, and you know that this is a veteran team going in, and yeah, what do you got to say?
Look, I mean, it's not an excuse, it's just reality. Like, yeah, like you said, they're a veteran team. We're also not a veteran team. We're a young team. And like, there are going to be moments where that youth is going to affect you. And I think like with Quickly's aggression, we've seen that in the playoffs. I think with, it's actually kind of funny. Like, as good as RJ has been, and he's been awesome. And I even thought today, look, the second half, quite frankly, I thought was bad from him. But you you love what he did in the first half. I think when you see performances like that, it's very encouraging. I mean, the first quarter he played was probably the best quarter of his career. That was unreal to watch. But like, I think Obi's the one who's played almost like completely free. Like it feels like he's just playing with zero. It doesn't feel like there's any pressure on him. It's probably the best way to put it. But yeah, like we're a young team. I think you're seeing some of that inexperience, and where this hurts you, there's two things that we got away with against Cleveland that we're not going to get away with here. That inexperience at times against Cleveland did crop up, but they don't have the know-how that Miami does. They're not as well coached, and quite frankly, Jimmy Butler is 10 times the player Donovan Mitchell is. So like that's part of it. But the other part of it is, look, Tibbs, there were stretches in all these games where we were all watching the Cleveland games, and we're like, not sure about this lineup, not sure about this lineup, not sure about this lineup. And you got away with it because, one, Cleveland doesn't have any pivots to, like, punish you with. But, two, Bickerstaff, and part of that, like, it's twofold, right? It's like they don't have the pivots, and Bickerstaff didn't make any in time, really. Spoelstra's not going to give you that margin. So he's got to be way tighter with his rotation. And he's got to be willing to try more shit than he did today. Like, you don't need to run a fucking screen and roll when you already have a matchup that's there for you. Like that RJ one with Butler, we talked about the end, was crazy. I mean, to see Butler go down with that ankle, and he clearly was not moving well, there was an extended break, right? He gets hurt. There's an extended timeout, right? Because they're making sure he's okay. How does no conversation happen during that timeout of like, how are we going to like test Jimmy? And they didn't. They literally just did not do anything to get him involved and make him put pressure on him defensively. It was wild. Like the one shot he took was that three. He got no lift on it. It was an air ball. Like the guy couldn't move. How do you not attack that? It's beyond me. So Tibbs has to be better. And all of them, Quickly, RJ, Brunson, Hart, Grimes, all these guys, they got to make some shots. You have to make some shots. There's no other way around it. Tibbs can make it easier by playing more, like prioritizing shooting more, but even then, those guys got to make shots. I mean, like I talked about, I thought the shots they got, especially in that first half, to start the second quarter rather, they got a lot of really good shots. I think Grimes had a couple open corner threes. Obi had a couple open threes, and they didn't cash those in. Like, obviously, you guys aren't going to shoot 100%, but you need to cash in. Like, I think there was one where we had a 12-point lead. Grimes, I think, maybe had an open corner three. Like, those are just the shots where it's like you need that one. Like, you have to have that one. It's the one that, it feels like a big shot in the moment. And I thought the 4-point play that Vincent got was a big play, and then the other one that I thought one of the biggest plays of the game was that Brunson one where he just threw it, like they had the steal, and then he turns around and just threw it like 5 feet wide to RJ. He had another one where Grimes was wide open to the corner. Mitch got the offensive rebound, gave it to Brunson. I don't know what the fuck Brunson did. He somehow fumbled this pass out of bounds, and he had
looked
Grimes.
like he was drunk.
Yeah, he was. Brunson was wide open Grimes was wide open in the corner, and it was just that was a huge I thought
momentum plays.
All of Brunson's turnovers today, and this is probably why it stands out so much. Every single one felt like a huge momentum one. And then he took that garbage ass 3 in the third quarter, held the fucking pose. Butler leaked out and got the easiest 2 points of his fucking life. Like, that was like, I don't say this lightly. That's like an unforgivable play. That's like, it's like how you guys have seen Love and Basketball, right? You guys seen that?
Yes.
What was that? What was that you did? Show us that. That's what I would do to Brunson tomorrow. Like, hold that pose for the next 2 hours while we're practicing, okay? Because I don't know what the hell that was. That was a crazy shot. He took a step back 3 after he, like, I think Miami had gone up 1 or 2 or whatever the fuck it was. Held the pose, you know, like he's Steph Curry, and Butler just leaks out for the easiest 2 points of his life. Unforgivable play. Like, that's just a joke. It cannot happen. That entire stretch to start the third. There was another one, right, where Obi, like, Butler outleaped Obi for the loose ball. Pretty sure that was on Brunson, too, because he's the guy. I think he was the last guy back. He just didn't get back. So Obi almost got back there. I'd have to watch it back. Maybe I'm wrong, and that was actually Obi just getting beat. But I would not imagine that's the case because I can't imagine Butler being on Obi defensively at all. So, yeah, I don't know. That was, again, he had 25 and 7, and I would challenge you to find me one Knicks fan who came away from that game being like, really good Brunson game. Really good Brunson game.
Yeah, it was not a good Brunson game at all. Oh, man. He's got to be better.
At least he acknowledges it. He said, Jalen Brunson, today I was horrific. This one is on me. So.
Good. He's right. It is on him. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it's on him. We can sit here and talk about Tibbs rotations and all this shit. Like, you need your best player to not have a fucking emotional meltdown in the fourth quarter. Like, we've talked about this with Randall all the time. Brunson had a fucking emotional meltdown today in the second half. He picks up a tech. Then he's still bitching at the fucking ref after they missed the tech, right? He's still complaining. And then when he comes back in the fourth quarter, that drive he had where I'm like, what were you going to do? Even if Lowry doesn't get the jump ball there, what exactly were you doing there? You were going to fucking, like, somehow shoot it over Bam even though you were under the fucking rim? Like, that was ridiculous. That was a ridiculous fourth quarter from him, ridiculous second half from him. I don't obviously actually mean it's unforgivable, but, like, the best way to describe how I felt about his performance today was unforgivable. Like, just a ridiculous performance from him. Just, you can't have that. You can't have that. Like, it's crazy to have a game like that from him, especially with the shots he was making. I'm like, how did you somehow manage to make this a terrible game for you with all these fucking 2-point shots you're making that are awesome? Like, again, I can't say it anymore, but it's just a ridiculous performance from him.
Meno F. I can't believe Grimes didn't get more run when we kept missing open looks. If conditioning was the excuse, we better see more of him in the next games.
I think you will. I'm not too worried about him getting play throughout the series. Maybe not in game 2. I would like to see a game 2, but I think by game 3 he'll probably be playing around like 24 minutes plus. But I think it needs to be sooner. I just don't know if it'll be game 2.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to, like, tread water until that 4-game break between Tuesday and Saturday. So.
A lot of comments here earlier about, Grimes. Rafael Burgess's 34 minutes of heart is insane.
43.
43. My eyes.
Sam's about to blame his teaching schedule.
No, I'm not.
Guys, I'm a teacher. I'm so tired all the time.
All right.
Go on.
All right. Anyways, yeah. 43 minutes of heart, yeah. Especially when they're like, he went 0 for 4 from 3. Credit to him for actually shooting the 3 ball today. But yeah, if he is just, there was a play I laughed at earlier, but it kind of encapsulates the whole Josh Hart experience in a way. There was a play where he got in transition, he looked off 2 Knicks, and he drove it.
Oh my god!
And he lost it off his foot, out of bounds.
That was Lowry knew the scouting report. That was that play. Like that, Lowry knew he knew he was not going to pass it, and he knew exactly. Hart loves to go left. It was one of those weird things, right, where it's like he's a righty, but he likes to finish left. He always goes left in transition. Like Lowry read that like a book. And if you watch that play, RJ is asking for the ball. Quickly is asking for the ball. Yeah, he
looked both of them in the face.
He looked at them. Like he actually looked at them and was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good." Then he had that other one that he got totally bailed out on in the fourth quarter. They called that a foul. That was a jump. Like that, I don't know what that like. But he drove straight at like 3 people and then jumped in the air. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Just give the ball. Like, there are times like he just needs to read the floor sometimes better in transition. I love the transition goes that he has, but sometimes less is more. And today would have been one of those games with him.
Definitely. All right, let's see what else we got here. Christopher Rivera says he agrees with Schwinn. I think all season that we have played better against Miami when Brunson isn't initiating or he's off the floor.
Yeah.
I think it just makes the Knicks a little bit more unpredictable, I guess, without Brunson on the floor. Like with Brunson on the floor, you kind of know what he's gonna do and what you're gonna get from the Knicks offense in that way. But like if he's not initiating, then it just provides for so many other wrinkles on the court to, present themselves.
I just think Quickly's style as an initiator is I think he's still trying to figure out the balance between like pass and shoot. But when he does figure out the balance, I just kind of feel like there's a higher ceiling of his initiating because Brunson is he's a good passer and he's a great scorer. Well, Quickly could be a great passer and a great scorer. So I think there's more nuance there, but Quickly's playmaking and facilitation. And he could also do it on ball and off ball. Like Quickly's ability to pass off the ball, especially, or like to be a connector. Brunson can't do that. So I just kind of feel like you need to trust your secondary and tertiary ball handlers more. And I think it's on Brunson, especially to enable that.
Yeah, I agree.
Ball. Like Brunson needs to be able to do stuff off the ball. Like you play next to Luka Doncic, you can play off the ball.
Even like forget.
Is that a Brunson thing or is that a Thibs thing?
I think it's both. But
but the player has to take responsibility, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
I definitely think it's the system that we run, but at the same time, like Brunson needs to be able to trust that pass.
Yeah, and like forget Quickly. Like you can justifiably just be like Quick didn't have it, fine. Okay. If that's your if you didn't trust Quick, cool. I don't agree with that, like especially as a tactic long term, but fine, I can understand it. RJ got 7 shots in the first half. He was 6 of 7. I don't even understand that. Like that's on Brunson. That's not on. I promise you, Tibbs was not like, don't get RJ going here. You know what I mean? Like he's not like look him off, call your own number. Like no, that's on Brunson. Brunson like, and Tibbs can't be out there fucking holding hands and like directing the offense every fucking play down the floor. Like you have to trust your players to make good decisions. And Brunson, like do you remember how annoying it was back in the day when we had Kristaps and he'd be cooking and then Aaron Aflalo would just be like, nah, I got this right here. It's me. It's my time. Like, that's what it felt like today. I'm like, dude, it's cool. Like, you're good, but RJ's cooking right now. I mean, RJ was cooking in a way that opened the game up for everybody. He was so good in that first half. I don't even care. It's not the shot number is indicative of us not going to him enough, but like he could have ended up with 7 shots if he got the ball more. I don't know, but like he would have created more. He would have created more for others. We only scored like what? So we had 32 in the first quarter. We had 23 in the second quarter. Like some of that's guys missing open threes. Some of that's just I thought Brunson's like I just thought he took a lot off the table today, and it was costly stuff. So
speaking of Porzingis, he tweeted about Kyle Lowry today.
Who cares?
Yeah, I mean he's got a lot of tweeting that he can do right now. So that's about all he's can do.
Tweeting at rehab is all Porzingis is good for. Okay.
Wow.
Definitely not NBA basketball.
Meadow asked, how differently do you think this game would have played out if Randall was active?
Depends on which Randall we're getting.
Yes, that is always the key part of that.
I don't think Randall does anything in the second half to really benefit them.
He might compound some of their issues, but yeah.
Like I don't think Obi played.
Especially if he's not getting calls. Oh man, imagine that.
They did get I don't think the whistle was like as bad as other people. I feel like people.
There was a stretch in like the third to fourth quarter where it was just egregious.
Yeah, it was bad, but it was like I don't know. I really have a tough time watching that game and being like we lost because the refs fucked us. Like that, just not. I do think
I think
we
it's
got a
like
bad
the
whistle,
bad
but it is what it is.
calls compounded with missing so many open shots. It's like that level of frustration just builds, I think.
Yeah, it definitely built. And look, the Knicks didn't even shoot that well from the line. They went 12 of 20.
20.
Like,
Yeah.
Mitch, that air ball he had was something, man. Wow. Um, again, like
Something indeed.
I hate doing this. I hate doing this. Mitchell Robinson, 34 minutes minus 13. Isaiah Hartenstein, 14 minutes plus 6. Like, I don't think it's that simple. But if you go and watch, I'm telling you, go look at the box. I'll look it up right now. If you look up the box scores for every Knicks Heat game this year, a lot of it plays out like that. Like, it's a bad matchup for Mitch. You got, and like, it didn't help the cause that, like, we know Mitch can't shoot for shit. You put him out there with Hart, who they're not treating like a shooter, and RJ, who's just not really shot the ball all that well for a while now. Like, it's just a terrible. That was like a toxic combination. It was wild to watch that.
I'm so shocked we went up like 12 at one point. Like that just...
When did he put Obi in this? Like, or when did he make his first sub in the second half? Was that like 2:45?
Yeah, I think it was 2:45.
That was crazy. Like, and this is the second or third time he's done this in the playoffs. Yeah, and it's like, I don't think he's ever going to be like, he's never going to be the kind of tinkerer that Spoelstra is, right? Or as creative as Spoelstra is. And that's fine. Like, nobody is, right? That's why Spoelstra is a Hall of Fame coach. But like, it's got to be like, how do you just, he called like 2 timeouts. And after the first one, I knew he wasn't going to make a change. The second one, I was like, okay, 100%, like, somebody's going to come in here. Nobody. And then his first sub was Hartenstein for Mitch. I was just like, I have no clue of what you're watching. This is very interesting stuff, but he's got to be better with it. Randall might help just because Randall won't. I mean, it's not Randall to me, right? Randall helps the game. Randall would help us in this series. I would like to believe that the game he was having in Cleveland was a turn the corner moment for him. But like, I think it's such a mistake to be this attached to Josh Hart. I really do. All the on-off stuff for him, even in the playoffs, him and RJ is just not a good combination. I think him and RJ with Randall especially has been a bad combination. Those guys, like, if we get Randall back the next game and he's still starting Josh Hart, that is a massive, massive mistake. And acting like we've never seen Quentin Grimes defend Jimmy Butler well is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, we saw that last season in that comeback we had against them. Forget this season. That last season, we saw that when he was a rookie.
How quickly they forget.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, come on. Like, you can trust these guys. This is like a kind of a big moment for him as a coach, right? It's like, will you trust the dudes and the lineups and the rotations and the data and all that stuff that got you to where you are? Or are you going to just submarine this because you love Josh Hart so much and cost us on the margins? We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Other games. The comments we have here. Jordan Bubb is saying Brunson needs to step up the defensive side of the ball and as a playmaker and decision maker. I think he will. I hope he will. Games versus Miami haven't really been his cup of tea this year. But I have faith that he will bounce back. He bounced back last series after a pretty rough game. So we'll see. There's no one really on Miami that should punish him like this, though. I don't understand the Gabe Vincent thing. Like, that shit is so weird to me.
I don't even think Gabe Vincent had like such a. I don't think he punished him unless he just had some really timely threes, and a lot of them were difficult as all hell. And it also didn't help that like quickly fouled him on one that kind of like gave him points. Like,
was that actually a foul? I felt like he sold that one.
He sold it, but it's also like quickly is that a habit of fouling shooters, especially 3-point shooters. So
I think like one thing, if there's anything to take away from that Gabe Vincent performance, and this is something that like Quickly and Grimes and both those guys specifically need to just like take on, keep fucking shooting. Just keep shooting. Like, if you're open, keep fucking shooting. I don't care how many you've missed. Just have the confidence to keep shooting. Because he was like 2 of 7 in that first quarter from 3. And he was like, I don't care. I'm getting these shots up, bro. And he did. I mean, he played well for them. So, yeah, Knicks got to get that through their heads, certain ones. And then certain ones like Brunson should maybe, maybe dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, like I think it comes down to confidence and like those guys like Grimes quickly. Obi shot. Obi got the memo, which is really good to see from him. Like I think people are talking about the 11 threes, but I feel like they were all good threes and they were open threes, and you need to take them. So I'm not too upset about them.
I mean,
Um,
he scored 12 points on 11 shots, like that on 11 threes. He ended up with what 18 points on 15 shots. Like, look at the efficiency of around him in this game. Like that's pretty much
that's the game.
yeah. That was fine. Honestly, he should have played more. He should have shot more. Like he had 18 and 8 in 31 minutes today. Like, and I don't like. I'm not saying he was some fucking. This was like some masterful thing, but he clearly played a good game and needed to play more, and should have played more. I mean, he didn't close either half, which was ridiculous.
There was a point in the first half where he played like what 17 straight minutes or something?
16 straight minutes.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but he just this is one of those weird tips things where he came into the game today already having like
Pre-deciding.
he pre-decided what he wanted to do rotation wise, and
No matter how the game went.
Yeah, it didn't matter how the game went. It didn't matter that Obi was playing well, that Quick didn't play well, that Hart couldn't shoot, and they weren't defending him. Like none of those things actually impacted his decision making. He just was like, "Yep, this is what we're doing." By the way, this is actually the most annoying part of this. Miami shot 42.4% from the field today, 33.3% from three. Knicks shot 47.7% from the field today, 20.6% from three. Like again, we can sit here and talk about adjustments all we want. They outscored us by 18 from the 3-point line. That's the fucking game. Like we can talk about adjustments and all this shit. But like, the biggest adjustment
Got
would
hit
just
shots.
the biggest adjustment would just be Tibbs not playing Josh Hart a fuck ton and a few guys making some threes. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, make him mislead. Also, asked Obi Toppin if he was surprised about not playing down the stretch. No, not at all.
That's what he said?
Yes.
Oof. It's not a great quote.
He's saying what we all say.
I mean, he's being honest. I don't really blame him for saying that.
Oh man. He knows what to expect with this. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna close this game. Yeah, it's whatever. Nafemi Huda says, we effectively had a 5-on-4 power play at the end of the game with Jimmy hiding in the corner. Miami 9-2 run. That's very worrying late game execution. Yeah, essentially. Like the fact that we weren't able to score with Jimmy being on one leg is concerning. It's gonna be interesting to see how they approach the next game. Are they going to actively hunt for Jimmy if they see Jimmy still a little bit hobbled? I mean, I know the next game is Tuesday, but yeah.
Is he actually even gonna play? Like he could not walk on that ankle.
He might. I mean,
I don't know, man. His answer at the end of the game, I thought he was.
What'd he say? I didn't see the.
They asked him about it, and he was just like, he basically like they asked him what his ankle felt like, and he was like, feels like a rolled ankle, and he was like smiling and trying to play it off, but like I think he'll definitely play the next game, but
he'll be very limited.
That did not look good. That looked pretty ugly. Also, I thought it was funny because I thought that was a pretty obvious offensive foul.
It was.
So the fact that he got hurt on that was amusing to me.
Lots of people thought that. I saw some people like saying like, "Oh, Josh Hart like swept his leg or whatever." It's like, dude, they're like going full speed. Josh Hart is playing hard ass defense. Like he's not really trying to intentionally hurt Jimmy Butler on that play. People are insane. All right, let's see what else we got here. Rafael Burgess says, is anyone else worried about how effortless this was for Miami? Hawkeye 420 then says, I don't know if this was effortless as compared to they just made shots. Mano F says, yeah, I think they were just super locked in and never got rattled even when down. I mean, yeah, they just showed the complete opposite of what we did. They were able to show poise. They were able to hit shots. They even made the bullshit shots like Kyle Lowry and Gabe Vincent. So, that's what it comes down to. And if the Knicks just make shots, then talking a whole different story today.
Yeah. Like you're not gonna get that team really rattled on the stretch. Like they've been in way too many situations like this. Like the core of that team has been in the finals. Like you're not
I
gonna get
think
rattled.
I think the biggest thing that helps them, that helps their role players very specifically, is when they take good shots, Spoelstra won't like if Duncan Robinson misses 2 threes, he's not going to pull Duncan Robinson for missing 2 threes because he'll be like, those are good shots. Keep shooting them. We want that shot. And I do feel like with Tibbs, there's too often times where it feels like guys have to make shots to stay on the floor. And then even if they do make shots, sometimes he won't leave them on the floor. Like, I mean, if Grimes made all 3 of his threes that he took today, do you guys think he would have still I still don't think he would have closed either half with him. Like, I still think he would have gone back to Josh Hart. So that's the one. Like, that's. I hope I'm wrong. We won't know. Obviously, we can never know that about this game anyway. But I do think like there's something to imbuing your guys with confidence, and I'm not sure Tibbs right now is doing that with Grimes or Quickly very much. Again, like those guys need to get over it anyway and just be better. But I do feel like that's a thing. So we'll see. Again, it's not a complicated game. Guys need to make shots.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it comes back to. Jordan Bob asks, do we think that the Knicks can win both games in Miami?
No, I don't think the Knicks gonna be able to win both games in Miami, but I think they'll win one. Okay, and the caveat that Jimmy Butler is able to play and is not hampered. If Jimmy Butler's hampered, I think they win both games in Miami.
Shwan, what do you think?
If people, yeah, if Butler's hurt, I think we win 4 in a row. Like, what the fuck are they doing without Jimmy Butler? It's cool that they were able to close the game. Like, it's very nice that they closed the game out.
With Kyle Lowry running the show?
Yeah, with one-legged Jimmy out there, but like that's
one-legged Jimmy.
That's
like
not
cartoon character.
That's not happening in the in a full game. Like no shot.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with one-legged Jimmy.
Didn't that actually happen to the Bulls one year, where like they were up on Boston, right? And then was it Butler or Rondo that got hurt? Somebody got hurt, and then like they just couldn't win a game after that. But
it was Rondo.
Yeah, I remember that because they had won both games in Boston, and Rondo was like calling out their sets and shit because he like knew all them, and it looked like the Bulls were about to just destroy them. Then he gets hurt and like totally.
Yeah, they couldn't win a game ever again with the corpse of D Wade and Jimmy Butler. That was a weird time in the NBA. All right, Christopher asks, do we think that Grimes should be put back in the starting lineup for Game 2?
Yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Without a
I'm
doubt.
so over Josh Hart
Hart
and RJ Barrett together. Like, especially like if you love RJ Barrett, and I know there are people who think, there are people who definitely love RJ Barrett more than me because I hate him apparently.
Yeah, didn't you want to kill his firstborn or something?
Yeah, that's me. But if you love RJ Barrett, like please play him with Quentin Grimes.
Yeah, he needs the spacing. Like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, just please. Just please let him have space for the love of God.
Yeah. Mano F says, y'all seen RJ looking to get to that midi? How much does that help open up the game for him?
It gives him a counter.
It does give him a counter, but it doesn't help him as much as, hitting some threes would help him.
He's got to know what's a good midi. The first 2 mid-range he took were good. Then he started tossing up some of that off-balance bullshit that he like does when he gets frustrated and shit. And that wasn't good. But yes, if he gets a midi, like yeah, of course that helps. That would help any scorer. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean that's something that he didn't really showcase that much during the regular season, if at all. So the fact that he's comfortable at least to take them and hopefully continue to make them at a decent clip, then that definitely helps him and that helps the team as well.
I will say it was good to see Quickly today at the rim. Like he finished 2 of 5 actually just inside the arc. But it was good to see him get to the rim, hit a couple floaters in that range. I think he needs to do a little bit more of that. He's just it really feels like he's like searching to find the balance that he needs, and it feels like it's not happening for him right now. He has stretches like this. We've seen him have stretches like this before, which is why I kind of find like people freaking out about him or Grimes like a little bit much to me. But he does need to find that balance for us to obviously, hopefully, win the series.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Brett says, Hart be a little too Alonzo Trier-ish in transition. Shots going up no matter what.
That's a phrase that should never be uttered ever again.
Yeah, that's disrespectful to Alonzo Trier. He's a bucket.
Okay.
People forget. How soon they forget.
He was a straight bucket.
Oh my gosh.
Let Randall sit out and let Alonzo Trier cook, and you'll see he's like that. What is Emgrads doing nowadays?
I don't know, but he's probably bagging groceries with Alonzo Trier.
Is he still
at his local mini mart?
Is he still pushing random ideas that like the Knicks are only playing RJ Barrett over Trier because of politics?
I don't know. He blocked me, so fucking loser.
Very phallically shaped head that he has.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Oh, Brent, you got to wash your mouth out after uttering that sentence. So that's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Alonzo Trier.
That's racist as all hell, bro. Come on.
Alonzo Trier is probably gonna like DM him and be like, "Yo, thanks for having my back, bro."
Appreciate the love, fam. ISOZO. Hashtag ISOZO.
Oh my god. Alonzo Trier, what a time to be a Knicks fan.
There's still fans. He still has fans in this. People are still like, yeah.
My favorite moment of him is him throwing a temper tantrum on the court. Like he was like literally like stomping up and down like a freaking 3-year-old.
I gotta find that clip. That clip was hilarious.
Oh man. Kid Kiro says Obi with 11 3-point attempts is insane. He hit some momentum changing shots, which is cool, but that's too much. Hart and Grimes need to shoot the 3 more instead of pump faking to drive into a crowded paint. I think that probably applies more to Hart in this situation. Grimes only played like 10 minutes today. And he did get.
I don't even think Hart had a problem shooting. He took 4 threes today.
Yeah, he took 4 threes today too. They just have to hit the shots. I mean, Obi got 11 3-point attempts because like I really don't know what their game plan in the second half was for Obi. It just seemed like they went away with what was working in the first half. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. How you feel about this series?
I don't think he had a problem taking 11 threes. They need whatever dude to hit threes. Like if Brunson hits 2 threes, we're not talking about this. If Josh Hart hits a 3, we're not talking about this. Like it just sucks that when aside from Obi, the rest of your team goes 3 for 23. That can't happen.
Yeah, they played well enough defensively to win this game, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, they just need to make shots. Tibbs needs to probably push different buttons, and they should be okay. Like if you score, I promise you, if you start scoring 120, you're gonna win this series. I know that Miami had this out of body shooting experience against Milwaukee. That regression is hitting. I think we're going to see it hit. Hopefully, the Knicks' positive regression also hits because that you have to believe at some point these guys are going to make open shots. It's not like they're like having to put up contested shot after contested shot, right? It's like quickly missed an open 3, Grimes missed a couple, Obi missed a couple, Brunson missed a bunch. Like these guys we've seen them shoot the ball well. Like you got to believe at some point they're going to shoot the ball better than they are. Even Randall, for that matter.
Regression to the mean, law of averages. Something's got to kick in. How'd you guys feel about Thibs not challenging the the Grimes foul on Kyle Lowry. I feel like that came at a key moment after like we just got screwed on the other end.
They had no
Uh,
timeouts. They couldn't.
Yeah.
They didn't have any. They didn't have any timeouts.
Well, they had like 2 timeouts, but if you
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
and you don't want to have like 1 timeout with like I think it was might have been like 5 minutes left, 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like they needed those timeouts, and those timeouts were good, but like, yeah, they kind of just needed those timeouts to stay even keeled, and it just sucked when Lowry was able to take advantage of that.
All right, I'm gonna go. I haven't eaten any food, so I'm gonna go do that.
Freedom.
Yeah, have fun, guys. Enjoy talking.
We will be off this very soon as well, Schwinn.
Right. Later, guys. Have a good one.
Later, Schwinn.
Oh, and if anybody wants to know, me and Stacey are recording Pod Strickland tomorrow morning, so that'll be out at some point, probably tomorrow. So, all right, later, guys.
Later, Schwinn.
Ooh, wait. All right, I was about to end the broadcast. I thought it was me. All right, peace.
Oh my gosh, Schwinn. All right. We'll get to these last couple comments before we get out of here. Mano F mentions Jimmy posted a clip of him shooting around on his IG story. It could be a clip from before the game, though. Probably from before the game. I don't think he's shooting around on a bad ankle. He didn't shoot at all today, basically, after he had one shot and it was an air ball. But you know, it's going to be interesting to see how the Knicks do approach, you know, whether Jimmy plays or not, if they're going to try to exploit that. If he does play, if he doesn't, then the Knicks should easily win the next game, but I think he will play. It's just going to be interesting to see how Miami uses him, if they use him as a decoy or not, all that good stuff. So,
I mean, I don't know how you use Jimmy Butler as a decoy because then you're not winning the game. He'll probably give you points, but like, I think the key to the Knicks winning this, like, if Jimmy Butler's a decoy, they're not winning at all. Like, at all. Because he is their offense. And granted, Bam had like a quietly good game, somewhat. And Gabe Vincent had a decent game, and Kyle Lowry had a really good game, but like, he is their offense. And if he's used the decoy, you're asking Gabe Vincent to score 30, you're asking Bam Adebayo to maybe give you 25, you're asking Kyle Lowry to do that again. I don't think that's possible. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets treated.
yeah. I think we can end things off here. I mean, we spoke about pretty much all we could with this game. You know, Julius Randle will most likely be back game 2. Game 2 will be on Tuesday in MSG.
I don't know if he's back game 2, dude.
You don't?
I don't think so. The way Tibbs was sounding in the press conference, I think they're gonna wait until they're
down even more in the series, or
I think they're gonna wait till game 3 in Miami, dude. Because at that point, it's 4 days of rest, and you expect him to be back by then.
Okay.
I think they were hoping they could win this game, so that way you can at least go into Miami tied 1-1. If you're tied 1-1 going into Miami, I feel like that's fine. You just need to win game 2. Which means game 2 a must win.
Yeah, which kind of puts a little bit more pressure on them for him to play, I think, in that case.
But I think like Obi wasn't a problem for them.
True. But they might just think having Randall out there will help them as a whole probably get better shots, maybe. If that's
maybe like if he plays the way he did game 5.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I could see it then. I don't know. It would just I don't.
But I do see your point in waiting till game 3, because that is a lot of time of rest, and that definitely gives him a chance to get closer to 100% than he's probably been in the last couple days leading up to the series. So
honestly, since the injury, it happened to like a month just about. So yeah,
he was moving well though before this games in the workout though. That's why I will say. That's why I did say that I think he might play game 2, because like if he looked that good before this game and was still out, then I think they just probably were giving him a couple more days to rest. But game 3 definitely does make more sense if they want to give him that full like week and a half since the injury initially happened to really get himself fully there. But
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But if he does play game 2, I wouldn't be surprised if like he plays well. But I think they kind of want to stretch it out to game 3. I think if they won today, he wouldn't have played game 2 regardless. But now I think the fact that they lost today gives them a bit of like for you on that.
Definitely. All right. Thank you for everyone who tuned in, even though we lost. We will be back after game 2 on Tuesday. That will be at Tuesday at what time is it? I think it'll be
I think
another
7:30.
7:30. Let me just check real quick. Yep, 7:30 on TNT. So we will be back after that game. Hopefully Knicks even up the series heading into Miami. But yeah, everyone enjoy your rest of your Sunday. Enjoy this game 7 that's on, and enjoy your Monday. Peace out. Oh wait, no, before we go, check out everything Strickland related in the description. We got links to the site. Merch. We got brand new merch. I'm rocking some of it right now. We also got a whole bunch of new merch that we've dropped recently these last couple weeks, between the yearbook shirt, the Manu Quickland gear. We got the Jalen Brunson stuff. Check all that out. We got links to the Patreon and Twitter, all great ways to support us and follow us. We're also on Instagram at thestrick.land. Make sure you're following us there as well. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. We're on our way to 1K subs. All that you do definitely helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. We will catch you guys in the next one on Tuesday. Peace out.